everyone. Welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Friday. It's August 18th. It is 2023. We have 12 baseball games to talk about here on today's podcast, joined by my good buddy, Will Priester, ChiefJustice06. Chief, what's happening, my friend?
I am good, my brother. Glad to come on. It's another day, another dollar, and it's almost football season. I saw, as an aside, before we get going, because I know we got a big slate, I hopped in the FanDuel lobby and saw they've got the $5 milli maker going on, and so I've told myself I'm going to take a couple stabs at it to start the season. I'm going to max it out, and so those are my plans, and I hope to take it down week one, and then I won't participate in it anymore the rest of the year. They will not get any of those profits.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Hit it week one and then don't play on it the rest of the year. Yeah, that'd be somewhat wild, but yeah, I mean, overall, it's a very interesting slate today. We have some high-end pitching. We got Strider against San Francisco. As far as high-end pitching is concerned, Lopez against Minnesota. A few spots that we're definitely going to break down and talk about here on today's podcast. But yeah, football season right around the corner, man. It's coming up quick. I feel like this is like the most prepared for football season I've been in years, because like we've been talking football on SiriusXM for like a month and a half. So I'm very, very prepared for football this year. I have way too much best ball invested, but definitely ready for where we're at. But let's get into 12 games. If you're looking at the slate and you're like, hey, it says 13 games. Detroit, Cleveland, double header. I know DraftKings for certain has taken it off. I assume FanDuel will do the same thing. So we're going to talk 12 games here and get rolling with Boston and New York. Usually this time of year, man, Boston, New York is like, hey, who's going to win the division? It's not like, hey, who's going to finish last in the division? But hey, that's where we're at. So we got Bayo against Brito facing off against each other. No total in this one. It's more of because the Yankees just announced that it's going to be like a bullpen type of game. Brito getting the bulk relief work. Any interest here in Brian Bayo?
Well, I don't think so, Stevie. The strikeout upside hasn't been there. Now, I'm saying that after Charlie Morton just can't hit the fountain of youth against the Yankees, but I think at 8,500, I think Bayo's going to sit on the shelf. He's got enough leash, to be honest with you. It's not the leash I'm concerned about. Is the strikeout upside going to be there, and is he not going to give up the runs? I don't feel like at this stage in the season he's hitting 25 to 30 fantasy points here, unless the Yankees roll out a AAA or a AA lineup or something like that. So I think Bayo sits on the shelf for me today.
Yeah, the strikeouts have dipped big time just in general. So looking at and like I was looking at like some of his stats and stuff, and I can't really figure out like what has happened with the strikeout stuff. His pitch mix very close. Beginning of the year he wasn't really using his cutter much, and he really hasn't even been using it much lately. So something's just not right with Bayo right now. But yeah, man, Charlie Morton. Oh man, that didn't work out. But yeah, I don't think I will get to Bayo on this slate. I think I'm with you there. Going to the other side of this game, like I said, it sounds like a bullpen type of game here for the Yankees. Brito is 5,800. The Red Sox are definitely a lot better against right-handed pitching than they are against left-handed pitching. I know he's cheap at 5,800. He's just not a high strikeout guy. He's been striking out more, working kind of out of the bullpen, throwing a couple innings, but this is a game they're going to want him to go out and throw 65 to 75 pitches. I don't know if he necessarily has the ceiling that we're looking for on a 12-game slate. Looking at the bats here on the Boston side of this game, when we're looking at right-handed pitching against Boston, interested in Justin Turner, interested in Rafael Devers. Adam Duvall is very playable. Verdugo. Cassis has been hitting right-handed pitching a lot better here recently. So I think the Red Sox are somewhat interesting, knowing that we're going to get a bulk work from Brito, but it's still like a bullpen type of game. So I don't necessarily hate them, but I don't necessarily love them. I like the lefties in Yankee Stadium. Will, really quick, did you have any interest in Brito, and what are your thoughts on the Red Sox bats?
No, I don't have any interest in Brito. The Red Sox bats, Stevie, they've been my kryptonite this season. Like, I have not been able to get them right.
They've been their own kryptonite this year, so
yeah, it's been so rough. I feel like when I don't get on the train, they're scoring a ton of runs, and when I'm on the train against a bad pitcher, they just don't get there. But you just have to keep firing those bullets away. I do like them. I know Turner had the day off earlier, so I'm assuming he'll be back for this one at 4,600. I still think he's in play. Very reasonable price. Devers, Verdugo, Yoshida. Yoshida struck out 2 times today against Patrick Corbin. That tells you how bad it was for me today. Guy that barely struck out twice against Patrick Corbin. Just, man. But all in all, you just have to go right back to the well. This team should be able to score a few runs at Yankee Stadium.
Yankees bats, any interest here in the Yankees against Bayo?
I think just in terms of a stack, like once again, Bayo hasn't really got blown up. That's the thing, Steve. Like he's really not. The blow-ups have kind of been far few and in between him, in my opinion. Like, there have been some games he was giving up a couple, but, and everybody's going to give up 5 or 6 every once in a while. But I don't know. Unless he just has a meltdown, I don't think he gives up more than 3. So I don't mind one-offs from the Yankees, but I don't want to stack them.
Yeah, I mean, so Bayo's a huge ground ball guy. You got to target fly ball hitters against him. So Judge is obviously a fly ball hitter. He's very much in play in this spot. The other one that you may or may not know about that hits the ball up in the air a lot in this lineup is Billy McKinney. So if he were to crack the lineup, he'd be one of those cheaper value savers at 2.4K that has some home run upside in this matchup. So Billy McKinney, someone I had written down on my sheet with his fly ball tendencies. So
yeah,
especially being in Yankee Stadium too, which is always nice. So,
yeah.
Philadelphia at Washington is where we go next. 9 total. Phillies a 185 favorite. Lorenzen against Adam facing off against each other here. Lorenzen's 9,200. Great matchup going up against Washington. Just put up 41 fantasy points against this team in the no-hitter that he threw against them. What are your thoughts here on Lorenzen? Coming back facing the team he just threw a no-hitter against, can he extend it 18 straight innings of not giving up a hit against Washington?
I doubt it.
The odds are not in his favor.
No. The thing about Lorenzen, I think he's too expensive now. He's 9,200. So here's what I will say. It's not like he's a strikeout guy anyway. So, with Washington, typically they're going to limit strikeouts. As you can see, he picked up 5 strikeouts in 9 innings. But he has been a guy that's been able to limit the damage. So that does come to fruition for us. I think that's a little bit too expensive for 9,200 in my blood. Basically, we're playing the Babbitt game with him again. Because he's not going to hit the upside because of the massive strikeouts. He's going to hit it because he goes deep into the game. So it's possible he goes deep again, but I don't see it. I think they have given him a sufficient amount of time off, right? It's not like he came back and pitched on the 15th. I think it would have been his next start, 14th or 15th. They gave him a couple extra days. So I'm not really worried about whether or not he's going to pitch in the game and be fine. It's really more about the upside. At 9,200, I think I'm going to pass.
Yeah, Philly's been using a 6-man rotation anyway, so it was very easy to kind of give him 8 days instead of 5 or 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the pricing that you pointed out is the thing that obviously I'm the most concerned about. Lorenzen's not a huge strikeout guy. His strikeout rate on the season is 19.4%.
Yeah.
His upside is there's not a lot of power in this lineup, and I mean he can go out and throw 7 or 8 clean innings against them. Pick up a win, score 25 plus. Is that enough? Maybe. Problem with him being like 92 is I think Strider, his ceiling's just incredibly high on this slate. So, I'm trying to find someone a little cheaper to pair with Strider on like my main build here. So I think like if you're not playing Strider, I think Lorenzen is in play.
Yeah.
Add on the other side of this game. Any interest here? Left last game with just like leg cramps.
Yeah, that burned me too. Oof.
Yeah. Any interest in him in this spot?
No, I'm going to let him sit on the shelf against Philly. Philly's not a team that I've been afraid of, but they're definitely better than the Oakland team he just faced. And at 6,300, I don't think he has enough upside as well. So I'm going to pass.
Yeah, I mean, overall, he grades out interesting as like a strikeout guy, but he gives up a ton of hard contact and a ton of fly balls. Like he has some regression coming to some of these numbers. So you look at the lineup and you're definitely worried about like who he has to face here: Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, Turner, Bohm. So, overall, I don't think I want to play him here. I have some slight interest in the Philadelphia stack in this spot, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you named them: Schwarber, Castellanos, Harper in the game. Like this, it's a good spot. Like I think, we can put together a nice quality lineup here. There's cheap pieces enough around this slate between pitching and hitting that we can put together this lineup. Definitely a spot where Philly could get off.
Washington bats against Lorenzen. He's a good pitcher. If I was going to play anybody here, it'd probably be like CJ Abrams. And he's been the guy that I've been targeting all year from this team, So, he's a guy that has 30 plus stolen bases on the season. He's hit up like 10 or 11 home runs, but he has plenty of upside here to get the job done.
Yeah, I don't hate Abrams, but all in all, I think we see a similar situation to what we saw in the no-hitter, Steve, which is pretty much who Lorenzen is. Ground ball guy, not giving up a lot of hard contact, not to this team anyway. And I think it's going to be ground ball out central with a strikeout or two here and there.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you. San Francisco at Atlanta. Let's talk about it. 8.5 total. Braves a 225 favorite. Cobb and Strider facing off against each other. Alex Cobb, actually a pitcher for San Francisco that you could roster, just not in this spot.
Yeah,
so,
no.
not even remotely thinking twice about playing Alex Cobb against Atlanta here today.
Yeah, no, not doing it.
Let's talk Spencer Strider. He's 12-7. At that price, you need him to push like 35 plus. Let's be honest. Like to win a tournament with Strider, you need him to have like ceiling games at 20 or 12-7. Like the Mets game last time out looked good. Pittsburgh, he looked awful. He really hasn't had like that blow up game since the beginning of like July. This is the spot he could just go out and just absolutely dominate. This is a high strikeout offense. They only have a couple power hitters in this lineup. Spencer Strider is in a phenomenal spot today.
Yeah, and so, Stevie, the interesting thing is this should tell you the expectations we have with Strider. He pitched against the Mets. He scored 27.6 fantasy points, and in our minds, that wasn't enough because of the price. 7 innings, no earned runs, 6 strikeouts. Walked 4 guys, obviously, but at 12-7, I think, this is the one pitcher. It's like you kind of have to just play the upside game, right? This is the one pitcher on this slate that could bury you. He's one of the only pitchers on this, one of the only, Steve, that could probably get you 40 points with ease if he's really rolling. And so unless a cheap offense, or the cheap pitching goes off and the expensive offenses go off and you have the right combination, it's going to be hard to beat 40 fantasy points from a pitcher. I'm not saying he's getting 40. I'm saying it's possible. And so as a result, Strider's going in the pool against this team.
Oh, yeah. I think he's the top pitching play on the slate if we're not considering price. Obviously, price Price is a thing. And we obviously have to worry about Price. He's 12-7. But this is a spot. I mean, I'll be shocked. I assume his strikeout prop is going to be 9.5 here.
Absolutely. Like, you don't have to think about it.
High.
It's for sure going to be 9.5. No doubt about it.
It's going to be a big number. And I mean, I don't know if I could really argue it not being a big number. So, Giants bats. I mean, you can always target like one-off power, against Spencer Strider because he does give up home runs. So like a Peterson, a Flores, a Conforto. Not getting too wild here and stacking, but I think if you wanted to take some shots on some of the one-off power bats, you can.
Yeah, I get that. I'm probably going to fade this team today. They don't see him a lot, so he should have the upper hand here. He's at home. I like his chances. I'm going to fade San Francisco.
Atlanta, I mean, very stackable. Again, they're expensive. It's going to be really tough. If I haven't even tried to see if it's possible to get Atlanta with Strider in this spot. So, yeah, I mean, with Albies being out, it makes the stack a little bit easier because Nicky Lopez is still only 3K, but he is like the chalk part of like the Atlanta stack right now. So I'm trying to find other options, Will.
Oh man,
chalky Nick Lopez does not like make me excited.
I mean, it's interesting because Stevie, so here's why this is interesting. I've been a bottom of the order Atlanta Braves investor all year, right? I've been selling people on it. Harris, Ozuna, Rosario, RC, been selling it hard. Well, now the sites have caught up. The bottom of the order is like 4K. Now Rosario's still 3,800. Ozuna's 4,400. Harris is up at the top now at 45. Like, there's still ways to make it work, right? But everybody wants to play Nicky Lopez as you've already mentioned at 3K, but we weren't playing Harris at 3,800. I don't get it. So I think Lopez is valuable. But if the ownership's too high, like there's really no need. There's no need to play him, especially in single entry, right? Like you can just get different and just play Rosario, Ozuna, Arcia. Because I mean, people aren't playing Arcia, and he's been fine. Like he's 4K. Mm-hmm. He's been getting hits galore. At least in spots. Now recently he's been a little cold, but prior to that, I mean, he was on his own personal tear. Stevie, dare I say, the big bats from Atlanta might not be chalky today. It's a big slate anyway. Dare I say the Atlanta stat might not get the traction that we think. And if so, like I want to load up on the big bats. If so, I want to find a way to do it.
I don't think Coors is going to be ultra popular today. I mean, it's very priced down overall. We'll talk about that when we get there. I do think Atlanta is going to be popular today. I will say, like, Colorado gets Kopech in Coors. I think that's a spot that, a lot of people are going to jump on. St. Louis gets a lefty. I think that's a really popular spot. Yeah, I think Atlanta is going to be popular, but I mean, I've been wrong on trying to project their ownership all year. I think that's it. Let's move on to Milwaukee at Texas. 8 total in this game. Pick'em game. Slight favorite to Texas. Heaney against Woodruff. Any interest here in Brandon Woodruff at 10-9 going up against Texas?
Stevie, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, so I've had a few hard, fast rules this season. And Woodruff's been fine, like generally speaking, throughout over the season, right? It's not like he's a guy that just getting blown up. He's had some strikeouts. He's been getting through innings. But and whenever I'm burned, but I've had some strong hard rules. Don't target Washington. Don't target Arizona. Don't target Atlanta. Don't target Texas. Don't target the Dodgers, right? It's like there's just a handful of teams. If you just don't do it, right, you're going to come out ahead. And Texas is one of those teams, and so I don't think I can do Woodruff at 11, basically 11,000. He's 10-9. I think Texas has too much upside for me to consider playing him at 11K. I don't feel like he has enough upside against this team. If this was Detroit, I'd be all over it. Like, I'd probably like him more than Strider if this was Detroit or one of those teams, or Seattle or Minnesota even. If it was one of those teams, Stevie, I like him more than Strider today. I can't consciously, with a good conscience, say I want to play Brandon Woodruff against the Texas Rangers at 10-9. Can't do it.
Yeah. So my thoughts on Woodruff, right, is he had a shoulder strain. He missed a lot of time. Milwaukee is very much in the playoff hunt. I mean, they're still leading the NL Central right now. So, my initial thought process is 10-9 for a guy that might be limited pitch-wise, that they're going to be very careful with here.
Yeah, they need him later, not now.
Yeah, they need him for the playoff run. So,
yeah.
Texas is a great offense. I mean, you nailed it, right? They're a top 3 WRC plus team. They strike out, I think, like 22%, which is below league average. So, I just don't want to pay 10-9 for Woodruff in this spot. Going to the other side of this game, I actually have a ton of interest in Andrew Heaney today. It shouldn't shock anybody. I love left-handed pitching against the Brewers. This is a spot that I've been targeting all year. So, yeah, I think this is an excellent spot to target the 27th WRC plus against left-handed pitching. Heaney, there's nothing safe about Andrew Heaney, but he does have double-digit strikeout upside against the Milwaukee Brewers today.
Yeah, interesting spot for Heaney and Steven. When we opened up this slate and we started poking around, to me, and I'm saying to me personally, it felt like he was going to be that guy, right? He was going to be kind of that under 8K guy that most people gravitated towards, and I can't argue with him. I think for good reason. He does have the upside. Like, I don't understand why JP France is more expensive than Heaney outside of the fact that, he's facing Seattle and hasn't really been blown up too much. I mean, he's been consistently, I guess, getting 20 plus fantasy points, but I still think Heaney has more upside today. I love the call.
Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that has plenty of strikeout ability against righties. This lineup is, I mean, they're just so bad against left-handed pitching. So maybe a little bit better, but still not great. So, yeah, I love this spot for Andrew Heaney today. Milwaukee bats. I mean, maybe Contreras.
Yeah, I mean, Heaney can walk a guy and give up some bombs. I mean, yeah. I've seen him strike out 10 and give up back-to-back home runs. Like, it's definitely possible. I like Contreras. I'm not ever going to tell you to not play Willy Adames in this spot. So yeah, I don't hate those guys at all.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
probably priced up now, lefty. So
if I played Heaney on like 2 of my 3 teams, I maybe mini stack Milwaukee or full stack them on the third team. But I think I'm going to be very invested in Andrew Heaney today instead of the Milwaukee bats. The Texas side of this game, I mean, Woodruff's a good pitcher. We're not sitting here trying to say like Brandon Woodruff's a bad pitcher. We're just saying that like his pitch count might be a little limited. Texas is a good offense. They're somewhat pricey. I think this is a spot with them facing an above average pitcher at these prices. I'll probably be underweight.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like this, to me, this isn't like the other night. For whatever reason, who were they facing the other night? And I actually liked them. I can't remember who they were facing, but this isn't the same spot. Like you said, Woodruff is definitely a quality pitcher. Strong force meets the immovable object here. I think they both limit each other's upside for a significant amount of innings. So unless Texas is going to key off after the six inning or so, Stevie, it's probably just not worth it to invest in them at these prices.
All right, we got Pittsburgh at Minnesota, 8.5 total in this game. Twins, a 235 favorite. Pablo Lopez starting for Minnesota. It sounds like Andre Jackson is going to pitch here for Pittsburgh. I don't know how much we'll really be able to see how deep he'll go. He got in trouble last time out, only threw 78 pitches. He got in trouble in the fourth inning and they yanked him with 2 outs. But any interest here in Andre Jackson going up against Minnesota?
So here's what this is.
Because Minnesota strikes out
more.
more.
Oh my gosh, Stevie! Like, listen, this Minnesota team just strikeouts galore. I think at this pitch count, Stevie, I've got to consider it. Like if it's mass multi-entry, he's going in. But I got to have some shares just in case, right? Like, what if he goes 6 innings, 6 strikeouts because they just can't hit anything today? Gives up a run or two. Like, that's great. He's 5,100. He's going in the pool. Bottom line, he's going in the pool.
Yeah. I mean,
if he gets 16 fantasy points, are you happy?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a big slate. I don't know. I was kind of looking through his numbers a little bit. He has really decent swinging strike stuff. Problem is, like, in the majors, we really haven't seen him as a starter. Last time out was the first start he's had. Now he is a guy that in 2022 started a bunch of games in AAA, but the Dodgers were using him strictly as a bullpen when he was up with the big league club this year and last year. And I will say, when he got traded to Pittsburgh, they used him in AAA as a starter. He just really hasn't pitched deep into a game. He started 3 times and then he's gone 10 2/3 in those 3 starts combined. So 5-1. He already showed they already showed that they'll give him 80 pitches.
That's all I'm saying.
Consistent 80 strikeouts. I don't hate the idea in large field tournament stuff. I don't think this is your single entry guy today,
no.
When we're, to be fair though, Will, when we're looking at the slate as a whole, Strider's price, if you can find somebody under $7K, $6K, it makes it really interesting. I think it makes a lot of sense to potentially take a shot on him over all the other guys down here. I'm not playing Erasmo Ramirez. So
no.
So yeah, overall, long story short, I think that he's very much in play today, depending on what type of ownership he gets. Is everybody going to go Strider or Jackson because he's facing Minnesota?
No, I don't think so. I don't think the owner sentiment is going to be on Jackson like we are. There's still novices that play MLB DFS just to have something to do. I don't see them playing Andre Jackson and Strider.
Pablo Lopez 10-6, really kind of priced up here, but he's been pitching great here recently. Gets a good matchup against Pittsburgh. A potential pivot off of Strider. I think Lopez is very much in play. Lopez can score 30, and if Strider doesn't have that huge ceiling game and he scores 30, Lopez is going to, obviously be way more efficient at, his price tag compared to the price tag of Spencer Strider. So what are your thoughts here on Pablo Lopez?
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, Stevie. I don't want to play Woodruff because the price, the matchup. Pablo, he's earned his price really this season. He's had multiple 30-point games, has been a consistent, pretty much, Stevie, 7 to 8 strikeout guy almost every game, consistently. Let's say 6 to 8, just to be safe, right? 6 to 8 strikeouts almost every game. If he limits the runs today, doesn't give up a bunch of runs, and can pick up those strikeouts, at the end of the day, Stevie, he's probably somewhere between 26 and 30 fantasy points, with upside for 30 to 35, depending on how many strikeouts he can get or how deep he can go. If he goes 7, picks up 8 strikeouts, doesn't give up any runs, he's hitting 30 fantasy points. So I think Pablo Lopez is definitely going in the pool today. I just take out Woodruff altogether, and I increase my Pablo exposure. That's how I play this slate.
Let's talk bats in this one. We'll start here with the Pittsburgh side. Any interest in Pittsburgh against Lopez?
No.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Minnesota, I mean,
I
don't
You go
know.
ahead. I've got a viewpoint on this. You probably already know what it is. We've been around each other a long time. So
Well, here's what I'm gonna say, right? My thing is like if Jackson starts getting ownership on this slate, I think you could leverage stack Minnesota. You close your eyes, you don't check the box score until the game's over, and just hope that like it works out.
for me, I think I'm going to get some anyway. So when guys kind of are in this weird transition of not necessarily a call up, because I always try to get at least a couple stacks against like a new call up just in case. You just never know, right? Could be jittery, just nervous, gives up some bombs. Like he's in a sense new to like this full starter role here recently, at least with this new team. I think I get a couple of Minnesota, and I'm not saying a ton, Stevie, but enough because of these prices. Kepler at 3,300, man, still cheap. Gallo's cheap, Walner's cheap, Luplo's cheap. Like this team, Polanco 4,600, and Correa at 45 are the expensive guys, and Correa may not even play. So I think this team is too cheap to not take a shot on a pitcher that could give up some runs. I'm not saying he will. I absolutely want to attack this team with Mr. Jackson, but I do still think having a few shares of them in stacks is still beneficial because of the prices in this spot.
All right, we're heading to Houston, Seattle at Houston, 8.5 total in this game. The Astros are 150 favorites. We got France against Miller. Any interest here in Bryce Miller?
No.
Yeah, I mean, Houston, they're definitely way healthier than they were a month ago.
They've been hitting so well. And they're not – it's not like they're rattling off 10 runs, too. But, like, you can count on Houston for 5 to 6 every game now, kind of like the old days. They're just going to make sure they score. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to close the gap on the Rangers, but the Rangers keep winning. Seattle keeps winning. It's still like too early to say, hey, this slate or this series is a huge like playoff slate. But I mean, this race in the AL West is super close. So
yeah.
Definitely some meaningful games here. I don't want to play Bryce Miller. I like the overall talent. I think he is someone we'll be talking about for years. Just not the right spot for him today. Yeah. JP France on the other side of this game. I like targeting Houston, or not Houston. I like targeting Seattle with like high strikeout guys that can really kind of attack this lineup. That's the type of pitcher that I feel very confident in playing against Seattle. And JP France is a 17.5% K rate guy. He's not going to go out there and, generate a lot of swinging strikes. I think his swinging strike rate is still under 10% on the season. So I think he could go out and throw 5, 6, 7 clean innings. But I mean, there's a lot of power here, and I just don't see the ceiling.
Yeah, so that's the thing, Stevie. Like France has been landing between, let's call it 18 to 22 fantasy points most games. I can almost assure you his strikeout line is going to be 5.5 tomorrow, at least early on. They'll probably drop to 5. I will be taking unders. I'm just handing that one out now. He comes out at 5.5. Even though it's Seattle, I'm pushing that under. I'm pushing that under or less than. And in DFS, Steve, if he was 7K today, like he was against Cleveland, like he was against the Yankees, I'm in. Like at 7K, Stevie, I'm legit in on JP France today. He's 8,700. I can't. I can't do it.
Entice us with some pricing, and I don't think they entice us enough with JP France's price. I've been watching SRX Racing as we're recording, and man, it is it's wild tonight. Just really cool to watch. But anyway,
sorry. So my screen's over here, and I have to turn it off because if not, I'll be too into it. So mine is just off.
Pro move is to have your TV right there.
Yeah.
Up hanging, easy see.
Well, so I guess I could do that. The way my office is set up, though, like Geraldine's got her awards on this wall. I know you guys can't see it, but like that's the wall in front of me. And then we've got stuff on this wall and stuff like outside of my screen here. And I've got my stuff over there too, like some of my live final stuff, my accomplishments. You know what I mean? And so it's like the easiest spot for the TV was like to my left. And I know everybody can't see it, but it's just how it worked out. Yeah.
All right. Any interest in the Seattle bats in this spot?
One-offs. Now, I don't want to ignore what France has been able to do in terms of limiting power. When I say limiting power, I'm saying limiting the runs. He has been able to do that tremendously. But I don't hate one-offs of these power bats. Julio, Cal Raleigh, who Cal Raleigh strikes out a ton. Julio does as well. I don't hate those power bats.
Yeah, I mean the power one-offs is where I would be targeting here. Power one-offs.
Yep.
Houston, same thing. Power one-offs. I don't want to pick on either one of these pitchers for what it's worth, but I feel like if you end up on like a Kyle Tucker or Yordan Alvarez type of play, no one should tell you no when you're looking at like top end elite power like Yordan Alvarez.
Yeah, for sure. I'm probably a little bit closer to a 3-man on Houston than strictly one-offs, just because, man, they just find ways to beat you, and it's so. Here's how I think this game goes, Stevie. They get through the first inning, they probably won't have any runs. Like Miller's going to pitch fine. When they come around the second time, though, they've just gathered so much information. I think that's where they get to him. So I don't hate these little 3-mans.
Mets and Cardinals, no total in this game. It sounds like Luke AC is going to get called up and pitch in this game. Welcome back. Zach Thompson pitching for the Cardinals in this one. We'll start with Luke AC. I'm guessing you're with me here. No interest in Luke AC?
Negativo.
Yeah, love the Cardinals today. Any interest in Zach Thompson? I mean, he's not really pitch deep. They did extend him about 13 pitches last time out. I mean, they need him. I mean, Wainwright is not doing great, and Steven Matz just got hurt. Any interest in Thompson here at 5,600?
So I kind of have him in the same category as Jackson, Stevie. Like large field stuff, I think you take a shot. Like we saw the pitch increase. It seems to me, Stevie, that he lands between 80 and 85 today on this slate. That's what it seems like. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm just basing it off the small jumping pitches. Colorado, 60 pitches. Kansas City, 73 pitches. Feels like 80 to 85 to me in this spot. I'm in.
Yeah.
Large field stuff, though, not single entry.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of power in this lineup outside of like Alonso and Lindor against left-handed pitching. So I think if you wanted to take some shots on Thompson, he's shown some strikeout ability. Even when he was working as a reliever and out of the bullpen, he had good strikeout stuff. Yeah, I think that he's very, very much in play at 5,600. Again, like we're searching for some value to pair with Spencer Strider, and we're going to take some shots. And Zach Thompson, if you're playing large field tournaments, I think if you're playing like a 20-inch max, I would probably get to these guys in a 20-inch max today. Let's talk bats. Any interest in the Mets bats here?
I mean, I don't hate a one-off Alonso. I don't maybe hit a one-off Vogelbach, but like I'm not rushing to stack the Mets.
Yeah, Alonso one-off, Lindor, like those would be the two guys that I would take some shots on here. Maybe Alvarez.
Yep, Alvarez, absolutely, yes, at catcher, yes.
And I guess like I should say like if Danny Mendick draws a good lineup spot, he's cheap and you can play him at second base. The Cardinals, I think they're one of the top stacks on the slate today. Luke AC, anything but good. Yeah, I mean, this is a guy that has just struggled massively. He got sent down because of his struggles. I love the Cardinals righties in this spot.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big spot for them, Stevie. Like Goldschmidt, Arenado, and then My boy Tommy Edman, like he's actually my favorite hitter from this team. I like Edman today, and Edman might lead off with the lefty. He actually might. It's possible. We'll see, but Tommy Edman feels like a home run call today, so I like him a ton.
All right, let's go to Coors, and we know how much you love Coors. We got the White Sox and the Rockies. 11.5 total. Pick'em game. Kopech and Peter Lambert facing off against each other here. Michael Kopech. Any interest?
Stevie, over under. We have a pitcher's duel in this game.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb really quick and just say I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this right here. It would not shock me if Michael Kopech dominates the Rockies today.
It wouldn't shock me if Lambert dominated the White Sox. Hey, weird things are just happening with these two teams, Steve. Like it's so
the White Sox are the most impossible team to figure out this
season. So like they went through this. So who they just faced, right? Who were they facing? Was it Milwaukee? Yeah, Milwaukee.
No, Cubs. The White Sox just played the Cubs.
No, yeah. Sorry.
Massive windy game in Wrigley, and I think it was like 3-2 or something.
I mean, I'm like, what is this? But no. But I think it was the Cubs, Stevie. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers, Stevie, because I think they ended up facing some good pitchers, and we were thinking, oh yeah, quintessential White Sox. They're going to flop and just get destroyed, and they just scored runs on everybody in that series, like. Every pitcher, didn't matter. Good, bad, ugly. I'm saying all that to say I can't play Kopech even against this bad team. And I'm also saying it would not shock me if he had 10 strikeouts. At all.
Yeah. If he's going to be like 5% owned and you're playing like 150 entry max,
Colorado's
I throw a handful. I'd throw a handful. If you're playing 150 entry max, I'd throw a handful. Lambert on the other side of this game, White Sox are bad too. I mean, these are just two atrocious lineups right now. I mean, there's some talent in the White Sox lineup, so I don't really have a ton of interest in Lambert. Where I don't know where the talent is in the Rockies lineup. Maybe, I mean, there's a few guys. Don't get me wrong, but Peter Lambert, low strikeout guy. Yeah, this isn't a guy that I want to play in Coors.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you guys know my thoughts on Coors. I don't really worry about Coors, but the prices aren't expensive. Like, I totally understand targeting this game today. And, but yeah, Stevie, I'm going to fade this game, but I am going to talk through it with you.
Yeah, I mean, on the White Sox side, Jimenez is banged up. Anderson suspension starts today, so 5 games starting today, so he'll be out of the lineup as well. Obviously, I think Robert is in a fantastic spot, and you're going to get a lot of value on the White Sox just overall. There's going to be a lot of cheap bats in the lineup today. My favorite would probably be Gavin Sheets at 3K. I mean, this is a guy that has pop. You can play him in the outfield, so I'm definitely interested in the White Sox, and I mean, we might have like a 2K hitter in Coors hitting in a decent lineup spot against Lambert.
Yeah. My question with the White Sox is how long before they lose all of this young talent? Feels like it's coming soon. Could be wrong though. But I don't hate the White Sox today. See, once again, I try to fade Coors, but I might actually need to change that stance just because, as you mentioned earlier, they might not even be. I think the White Sox get more ownership than the Rockies, which is typical when teams go to Coors anyway. If the ownership's there, I'm probably absolutely going to just continue to fade. If it's not, though, Stevie, I might be slightly interested, especially in some of these pieces, Andrus, Robert, etc.
Sosa should get the call-up for Anderson today. I don't know if it's happened yet or not. He has been fantastic in AAA this year. It hasn't translated to the bigs yet. He's a talented prospect. So, like, if he's in the lineup, 2K second baseman in Coors against Lambert, sign me up.
Yeah.
Rockies against Kopech. It's a stack spot. I mean, you could one off the Rockies, but why would you one off a chalky offense? The tournament I took down the other day was cores. I just fully stacked cores. It was a 5-3 core stack. I could see myself 5-3 stacking this game, but yeah, I have a ton of interest in the Rockies. Kopech, when he's off, he's terrible. And I mean, he's really been off all year. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
He really hasn't had a great year. So,
That's how I feel about Jimenez. He's been hurt all season.
I know, but like Kopech, he walks so many people, and like you walk 1, 2, 3 guys in cores, those gaps, man. Yeah, I have a ton of interest in the Rockies today.
Yep, love it. Love the call.
All right, Tampa Bay at LA, taking on the Angels. 9.5 total. Pick'em game. Ramirez and Anderson facing off against each other. Erasmo Ramirez is a pick'em game against the Angels. That is crazy. Any interest in Erasmo Ramirez?
Let me think about that, Stevie. Answer's no.
All right. Well, I thought we were going to get like the Will Priester very fast. No.
I want to switch it up a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm not switching it up. No interest. Tyler Anderson on the other side of this game. I mean, he's been struggling recently. He has some strikeout ability and strikeout upside. The Rays are not as good as they were at the beginning of the season by any means. They're still a top 4 WRC plus team. What are your thoughts here on Tyler Anderson?
None. Not playing him.
See, that was a much faster. See, I was like, all right, change it up here. I can get a swig of water in real quick. And he's like, nah, this guy, not playing him. All right. Tampa Bats. Any interest in Tampa here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love the Tampa Bats here. No, Derek, this is not going to jinx it. Thanks, Derek, for your wonderful comment. But yeah, I love Tampa here. I think this is why even, I know they've lost one of their best hitters. They've even pulled him out of the player pool, Stevie. So I guess they know he's not playing anymore. Super weird, but yeah, I want to stack this team. Yandy Diaz is definitely a guy on my list. He's 5,200. Don't care. We've got a Rosarina at 5,500. Don't care. We definitely want to get some of these pieces in. Paredes, Brandon Lau. I think we stack this team against Tyler Anderson. Lefty, righty, lefty doesn't matter to me. He's this season been giving it up, and I think this team can get to him yet again.
Yeah, any of the right-handed hitters that crack the lineup. Man, I am so interested in the Angels today. I'm not a Erasmo Ramirez guy. I mean, you the thing is, right, you're not just playing against Erasmo Ramirez. You're playing against one of the best bullpens in baseball. And they will go to the bullpen very fast. Erasmo Ramirez isn't fully stretched out anyway. This is going to be like a opener situation. Like he's going to open and throw 1 to 3 innings.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Three is his top out.
Yeah. So you're not just stacking against him. You're stacking against like good top end bullpen arms if the game's close. So, man, I'm interested because Erasmo Ramirez is a pitch contact guy. I think if you wanted to go like top heavy with like Ohtani, Moniak, and then like throw in like maybe like a CJ Cron and hope you get that first inning super explosion and you get the bad part of Tampa's bullpen, that could be viable here.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, I mean, no need to not play Mr. Ohtani. I know Moniak's been striking out a ton, man, but I still think he's got some. I've got some interest in this spot. You talk about CJ Cron at 4K. Like, I think this team's cheap enough to take some shots. I mean, in 3 innings, they could do some damage, Stevie. Like, if they can rock him in 3 innings, they give up 5 runs. You got to think the main guys are probably contributing to it. So, I like the Angels here in this spot. Try to get to Ramirez early.
All right, we got Baltimore at Oakland. 8.5 total in this game. Orioles a 185 favorite. Gibson and Medina facing off against each other. Kyle Gibson, 8,200 going up against Oakland. Oakland has been somewhat better here recently. But with that said, I mean, Kyle Gibson's price is actually kind of nice going up against Oakland. So we talked about a lot of pricing being off today. I feel like this is a super fair price on Kyle Gibson going into Oakland.
Yeah, absolutely fair. And he's also coming off laying a stinker against Seattle. So hopefully people have some recency bias to say, man, nah, I can't do it with Gibson. This is still no pitcher's going to get through a season unscathed. So if we're going to take him, we just have to keep taking pitchers in the good spots. I still think this is a good spot for Kyle Gibson at 8,200. Stevie, I think Gibson can get us 20 to 25 fantasy points with upside for, let's call it 27. Let's call it 27. So at 8,200, I think this is a respectable price against a young team that's nowhere near arrived yet. I like the price at 8,200. He goes to the pool.
Yeah, very much in play. I'm not touching Medina on the other side of this game.
No.
I have a lot of respect for the Baltimore lineup.
Yeah, absolutely. Same here.
Let's talk Baltimore bats. What are your thoughts here on Baltimore? Oh, we lost Will again. So I mean, Medina. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's not back. Is he back? Guess who's back? Oh, nope. All right, we lost Will again. Looking at there you go.
Trying to figure that out right now. Like I'm looking at
all right. We need the righty. Give me the righty. Medina is a guy that definitely struggles more with lefties. He strikes out righties at a little bit higher clip. His WOBA much higher against lefties. He walks a ton of guys. So while looking at Baltimore, I think like Santander, Henderson, Rutschman, Mullins would be like the main targets here. I think Baltimore, probably a team I'd use more as a secondary stack, but I don't mind like a Baltimore 4-4 type of stack with somebody else either. So I think they're very stackable here today against Medina. Will's shaking his head. We don't need the righty. He's back.
Yeah, no righty needed. I'm back. I can always tell when it's good and when it's not. I do get a little notification for the Wi-Fi if something's acting up, and I'm hardwired in, so I don't know why. But either way, I just like this team with Cedric Mullins back, Steve. I think it opens it up for them. Like Adley doesn't have to lead off. Like you get a guy that can kind of set the table, get a steal, somebody can drive him in. So I like this team with a full stack. Mullins, Santander, Rutschman. You still got Henderson there. This is just. I think this team could be a really good stack spot against Medina today.
Oakland bats against Gibson. Any interest here?
Well, the days on the IL now, so that just leaves kind of Brown and a couple other guys. I don't know if I need Oakland today.
Yeah, I think like if Gibson gets a lot of ownership, you can make like a leverage stack. Arizona at San Diego, 8.5 total in this game. Padres a 185 favorite. Lugo against Fat. Any interest here in Fiat?
No.
Yeah, tough matchup against San Diego. He just faced them last time out too. So very, very recent start against them, which kind of stinks. He gave up 9 hits, kind of ran good on the BABIP side of that game. Had some strikeouts to get him out of some jams as well. But yeah, I don't think I'm touching him today. I like Seth Lugo. I don't like Seth Lugo against Arizona though. This lineup continues to be a really solid lineup. And I mean, they're still top 15 in baseball, strikeout rates and WRC plus against right-handed pitching.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you 100%. Just not the right day to get on the Lugo train.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind playing him, but not today. Let's talk Arizona bats. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, the main guys, I don't hate Carroll. I don't hate Marte. My boy Perdomo is back at the bottom of the lineup at 4,100, who I'm sure plenty of people don't want to play now, but I don't mind it. He can set the table from the bottom and be able to pick up some runs, hopefully. So I like that little kind of wraparound stack with him. I definitely think it opens it up for you to be able to play this team.
San Diego bats here. I mean, they're expensive. I think if I'm playing San Diego, it'd probably be like full stacks.
Yeah.
They're just so pricey. Like, who are you one off in Cronenworth? I mean,
yeah, he's 4,200. I mean, he's
Gresham.
kind of Cronenworth, Grisham, I think, are the guys that those are kind of like the bottom of the order Braves guys that we've been playing. And then you kind of just fuse that into the other guys. Xander's 4,700, so he's not crazy expensive right now either. Where he's been, $5K for certain parts of the season. So I still like this stack against Fat. I think they can score a couple runs if the bats are hitting together well.
All right, we're finishing it out. We got Miami at LA taking on the Dodgers. 8.5 total. The Dodgers a 140 favorite. Alcantara against Gonsolin. Any interest here in Sandy Alcantara?
No, and he's been pitching way better, but I'm not doing it against the Dodgers. Just not doing it.
9-6 against the Dodgers. Like
on the road too.
Yeah, like 7,500 against the Dodgers, and like we're having a serious conversation about this because of the pitching on the slate. But I mean, this is basically saying, hey, full price for Alcantara in a matchup against the Dodgers on the road. I'm gonna be out. I don't know if I'd stack the Dodgers today. We'll talk about it in a second, but Gonsolin on the other side of this game. I mean, still in that like 85 to 90 pitch range, most starts. Any interest in him in this spot?
No, not 8K. I mean, I know he pitched well against Colorado. That's Colorado, Stevie. Like, generally speaking, he hasn't been pitching well against anybody. So, and they're not a really bad team anymore. They just strike out. They got a couple guys or a handful of guys that strike out a lot. They got another handful of guys that don't strike out hardly at all. So I'm not playing Tony Gonsolin.
Let's talk bats in this game. It's an interesting game for bats. Miami, any interest here?
So here's the thing. I think you can play Miami today, Stevie. Like, I don't hate Jazz. I don't hate Sanchez, De La Cruz. Arias is back under 5K. Soler, like Bell is there now, and he's been helping this team, Stevie. I like Miami just in an interesting spot where they've got a couple guys that are expensive, but then they've got this other handful that's not, and it just kind of works. I think we can target them against Gonsolin. I'm not saying Gonsolin is going to give up 6 runs today, but what I am saying is I think there's a chance that Miami could put up some nice fantasy scores. Maybe I don't go all the way deep. I don't go deep to a 5-man, but I do think 3-mans to 4-mans. I think Miami's okay today.
So I love this spot for Soler. Like, Gonsolin's a guy that has some reverse splits. A lot of hard contact, a lot of power, a lot of fly balls to right-handed hitters. Miami on the road. We know if a lefty comes in out of the bullpen, Soler gets a bump there, but this guy's been hitting the ball hard here recently. I like Soler a lot in this spot as a one-off. I don't know if I'd stack Miami, but definitely interested in Soler. Dodgers, for me, it's a stack or fade spot. They're facing a good pitcher. He struggles a little bit more on the road, but like you said, he's been pitching a lot better recently. Any interest here in the Dodgers bats?
Plenty. I think that when we're looking at Alcantara today, once again, Dodgers Midnight Hammer coming in. I think if we're game log watching Sandy, we're saying, oh, it looks like he's gotten better. It did pitch okay at Texas, Stevie. But by okay, what we're saying is he didn't give up as many runs as maybe he got hit. He did give up 5 runs, but he had 7 strikeouts, which negated that. 6 hits, though. Same thing for St. Louis, gave up a fair amount. I think we see something similar here. I like the Dodgers stack. They're expensive. People aren't going to want to play them. But, Freddie Freeman still rolling, still going strong. We've got Muncy at 4,900, who does strike out a little bit, but at 4,900, I'm willing to do it. We've already talked about these cheaper guys, Peralta and Hayward. We talk about them a lot. I'm in on those guys. I think we can stack the Dodgers late night hammer against a pitcher that has historically struggled on the road, and I think hasn't been pitching as well as it looks on paper.
All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we will get out of here for the weekend. Hey, there's NASCAR this weekend, if you are interested in that. We got the premium NASCAR package here at RotoGrinders, rotogrinders.com/premium/NASCAR. We're going road course racing again this week. We got Daytona next week. Very exciting time for NASCAR with 2 weeks left in the regular season before the playoffs get started. So under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today, Will?
Yeah, I think we got some options today, Steve. We got some options. For me, I'm going to go off the beaten path today. Give me Jackson at 5,100 facing Minnesota.
All right. I am going to go with my boy, Andrew Heaney. Really like Heaney today. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I think we got some options there as well. Give me Sandy Alcantara.
I am going to say Woodruff against Texas.
I like it.
Over 4K to hit a home run, not in Coors. Who's going yard today?
Give me Tommy Edman. I talked about him earlier at 4,100. I like him today.
I'm going to go Paul Goldschmidt.
Ooh.
Like the spot for Goldie today.
Yeah.
Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's a cheap bet that you like today?
This is my tough one. I had a lot of guys. I think I'm going to go homer today. Give me Eddie Rosario, 3,800.
You no Nick Lopez?
No, not Sticky Nicky today.
Listen, I just want to make sure, if you want to take him, but give me Contreras from St. Louis. I'm very, very invested in St. Louis today in the game. Stack to score 6 or more runs. Who do you got?
Give me Baltimore. I like Baltimore against Oakland today.
I like that call. No issues with that call whatsoever. Instead of sticking to a full-on St. Louis game, I don't know. I have a good feeling today about this. Give me Tampa Bay.
I like it.
Will, it's the weekend, my friend.
It is.
Any final thoughts before I see you back here on Sunday night to record another one of these?
Nah, man. Enjoy your NASCAR. Get as much rest as you can. And see you tomorrow. Take your pick at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No longer in the a.m. Show has been moved to semi-prime time.
A ton of projections and stuff out by that time. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Will's going to be bringing the goods. If you are not in the Discord, get in the Discord. The Chop Shop or Prop Shop is absolutely fire every single day. I've been dabbling in the MLB channel. If you didn't know, the NFL, MLB, golf, NBA, all of our channels except for NASCAR and Cardi's channels, Blender's channel, and Grant's channel are free. So if you want to get in on the Discord, now's the time. There's always discussions going on over there. So get in the Discord. We're going to wrap it up here for Friday. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll be back here Monday talking more baseball.